Get ready for some intense moments where heated debates took unexpected turns, from live discussions to viral clips. We're showcasing the top takedowns where feminist arguments face serious challenges. Watch, laugh, and decide if you think these responses hit the mark. Comment your thoughts and join the conversation.
Experience where
we can talk about sexual assault everywhere, in the military, in the home.
So are these the things that you're fighting to end sexual assault?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, great. You don't have to be a feminist to fight to end sexual assault. If you want to be a feminist girl, put it on a t-shirt, wear it, put a hashtag. I'm just telling you, don't unnecessarily put yourself into a corner, and to recognize that it has never been a greater time. I would offer it is a way better time in this society to be a woman than it is to be a man.
Built every single man up that I've ever been with, baby.
All right.
When they leave me, they're in a much better position than when they got. A woman's value that she adds to a man is something that you cannot even put a price on, baby. It is something that you cannot even look at the amount, because guess what? What we're doing is we're elevating you and we're growing you in a way that you could not even imagine.
The very last man you was with, how long was that relationship?
3.5 years.
When you met him, was he a millionaire?
No.
When you left him, was he a millionaire? No. You ain't made nobody nothing. A lot of these women talk about what they could do for a man and how good they are. Y'all ain't made nobody
nothing. Just because you didn't make someone a millionaire doesn't mean you didn't make them nothing. I know you're smarter than that.
Pause. Let me get it out. You didn't make him nothing. Let me just say this, ladies, before we get to this list. A lot of y'all have an overinflated ego. You're not bringing nothing to the table but problems, attitude, and tarnished and zesty.
I don't know.
So check your attitude. No, check your attitude, because y'all are not all that. Now, with that being said, let me finish this list.
In what sense is our society male-dominated?
The fact that the vast majority of wealth is owned by men, the vast majority of capital is owned by men. Women do more unpaid labour.
A huge proportion of people who are seriously disaffected are men. Most people in prison are men. Most people who are on the street are men. Most victims of violent crime are men. Most people who commit suicide are men. Most people who die in wars are men. People who do worse in school are men. Where's the dominance here precisely? What you're doing is you're taking a tiny substrata of hyper-successful men and using that to represent the entire structure of Western society. There's nothing about that that's vaguely appropriate.
It's like, well, if going out on a date with a guy makes me a slut, then that's just what I'm gonna be.
I don't think going out on a date makes you a slut, but having sex with different men makes you a slut.
Well, what does it make you if you have sex with different women?
A slut maker.
You're a feminist.
Yeah.
What is the difference between a feminist and a knife?
What sort of a comparison is that? I don't understand.
Threaten to answer.
Yeah.
At least a knife has a point.
And I don't get triggered at all. All these times when you talk about men paying for stuff, I don't get triggered because I'm not broke. I get money. So all of these things are no, but I'm not bothered by none of these things that you want.
Kind of bothered.
No, how can I see? Okay, no, wait, it's fine. But this is what
to not do the ad libs.
No. So if you let me speak, girls. This is not respectful.
No,
wait, hold on a second. No, this is what we talk about. This is very disrespectful.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not sorry because you're still interrupting me. That's not sorry. You're not learning anything.
My bad.
This is you're still talking. Very disrespectful. So I'm experiencing you now, yeah, and this is me experiencing you on a podcast. I can only imagine what it is for a man that's actually in a relationship with you. You're very unagreeable and you're not listening. You're talking to a man that's a lot older than you, that's trying to put you on some game, and rather than you to listen, all you would do is keep talking.
You sound hurt. Who hurt you?
I'm not hurt.
That kind of
so back to what I was saying again. The only reason you girls push back when we speak about body counts, it indicates to me you have a high body count. I don't need to know your body count. I just can feel your energy, and this is what we deal with. So when you want to argue about why you're arguing with the right to sleep with as many men as you want, you can do. A woman has the right to choose. A woman has the right to wear what she wants. A woman has the right to go where she wants. Yeah. A woman has autonomy and sovereignty over her body. Yes. But along with those rights, I have rights too, and I don't have to accept a woman that goes around and sleeps around with people. And this is why you girls get mad. It's called a preference. It's called wait, hold on. No, I'm explaining something. It's called a preference. It's called a standard. That's all it's called. So when men speak like this is our standard. This is our preference. Sleep with 10 men, sleep with 20, sleep with 100 men. But when you meet the final man that you want, we're going to see what he has to say for it.
Thank you.
Now go on. Say what you want to say in response.
What to that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you because you kept interrupting, so I'm saying like if you got
I have no response to that, to be honest.
No, but you
just
stopped
sound
it.
very hurt. The tone of your voice kind of raised for no
let her
reason at
finish.
all.
Go on.
But yeah, no, I have nothing to say. We can carry on. But I was gonna ask a
Bro, I
question.
have to reply to that, man. No, bro, I have to reply. She cannot.
Hold on.
Why are you so mad? I don't understand.
Hold
What's
on.
wrong?
Is that your response to him? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, go on, bro.
So all you got from that whole thing was my tone of my voice.
Yeah, because why are you so angry?
I'm not angry. No. This is and
I don't understand.
so once again, you go. So this is what you guys are doing, right? You keep stopping a man when he's speaking, and it becomes quite irritating. Men, we are direct. We don't do what you girls do. We want to explain something, want to get straight to it. But what you girls do, you keep interrupting and keep trying to stop. Keep adding ad libs. It's very disrespectful. You've come and invited as a guest of someone's show, and you're supposed to be here having a debate and discourse. But all you girls keep doing is interrupting.
My bad.
And you did it again.
I'm saying sorry.
No, but you don't have to say sorry. Say
All right, bro. At the end of the day, all right.
You're doing it again.
He's being very polite.
Bro. Hey. You're not the moderator, okay? Let me do my job, all right? At the end of the day,
it's because at the end of the day, when you have a group of people, when the men want it to be about them, they can do that. They can just be stronger, be bigger, be louder, take over, and make it about them. So if you don't purposely carve out shit for women, it doesn't happen, because you would think common sense would tell you that when the Constitution says all men created equal, that they meant humans. But the fact that women have had to fight to get the right to, the gendered laws, there are gendered laws so that women could vote. I think that's a fair one, because we had to gain that right. Same thing with discrimination against credit and getting bank accounts and all that stuff. Some of the gendered laws are there because the men have been standing in our way.
Damn right.
So my final thought is, as a woman, we have the right to do whatever we want. And I don't know what really feminists are crying about. We can go get an abortion if we want one. We can go get birth control. We can go work. I can't think of anything we can't do. So to me, feminism is just a lot of crying and whining over nothing.
I haven't seen this, but I think I can already have an idea.
No, this is different than you think it's gonna be. This is too much. Girlfriend got stuck.
Bail out. Just bail.
She got stuck. She didn't want to throw it. So now she's trying to get guys to come over and help her to lift that thing off her back. And I guarantee you there are guys that saw what was going on and were like, I'm staying out of this. I don't want to be in some video. I'm not getting involved. I'm approaching her, all that. And this is what I say about feminism wrecking men, because your natural instinct as a man would just be like, let me go over and help this woman, right? Normal. You gotta be afraid to do everything now. And I think that's why when people say the death of gentlemen and all this, women complain. I saw a video of a very prominent female figure being like, oh, all the good men are gone. It's like, well, you killed them. You killed whatever was inside of them that would have made them actually act like men. Guys are afraid to be men.
Yeah. Feminism has disincentivized men from being gentlemen.
About to use a P word that we're not allowed to use.
Oh my God. I don't see how that's at all relevant.
Oh, I do.
The
Okay, so
conversation.
99% of sexual perpetrators are male. And
that's false.
No, look it up right now.
What about
It
all
is
these women teachers that are...
Right, let me get into that, because this is quite literally my background. This is what I do for a living. So I can tell you that it is 99% of sexual perpetrators are male. You can look that up right now.
That's false.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is what bugs me about men who say things like that. That is willful ignorance. You can absolutely look that up and educate yourself right now, and you don't. Why?
Also, it's not true.
It is true.
On its face, it's not true.
Oh my God, you have to look it up. How can you say that's not true? What's your background? Where are your statistics coming from?
But I was struggling to bring my TV, fit it into my car. It was in a big box. It's a 55-inch. It could barely fit into this car. I'm sitting out here struggling to get this in my car. Men are walking back and forth. No one is trying to help me.
You see, there's a reason for that. Decades ago, you wouldn't have needed help. The men would have done it for you. The thing is, the world has changed. Women have changed. Now, see, something I tend to do a lot. I tend to imagine, what if I was a man? What would I be doing today? Would I help women? Truthfully, when I think about it, no, absolutely not. Even if my instinct as a man is leaning toward chivalry, I'm not going to help. There's a number of reasons for that. A lot of times, when men are doing nothing wrong, they end up on the internet because the wind blew something into their eye and they might have winked and someone filmed it and then you end up on TikTok as some kind of perv because you were winking at a woman? And what if she was 17 years old and you helped her? And then you end up on the internet as some kind of creep pursuing young girls. It's just too dangerous. There are cameras out here. People are filming things with duplicitous intent. You don't know when you're going to be the next viral sensation. You don't know when you're the next guy getting your life ruined. You don't know when a woman is going to lash out at you because you might be helping her and she takes offense in that. If I was a man, I would not deal with this. Why would any man in his right mind help a modern woman? They're strong, they're aggressive, they call themselves equal, they say they can do anything that a man can do. Why do you need a man's help? Just do it. Get your girls. Women want men to be old-fashioned, but women don't want to be old-fashioned. They just want the best parts of what men can offer without giving the best parts of themselves.
It took an older man to come and see me struggling. He came out and helped me take the TV out of the box. They don't make real men anymore. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not all men, because there are good men out there, but it's such a rare thing. It took an older man to do that.
Of course it took a 70 or 80-year-old man, because he's not on social media. He doesn't see what's going on out here. He's from a different generation where women were actually beautiful. And he still believes that women are beautiful. I used to believe women were beautiful, but not anymore, because I'm here on social media. I see what's happening on the streets. I see what's happening to men when they try to be chivalrous and kind. Sometimes it's appreciated, oftentimes it's not. So a man has to ask himself in that moment, which risk does he want to take? Will this be a good outcome, or will this be a negative outcome? A man doesn't know, so he backs away. You can't blame them for that.
We got to go back to the drawing board.
Yes, we do need to go back to the drawing board, but not in regard to men. In regard to women, women need to go back to the drawing board. Do you realize you do need help with things, don't you? You do want them to do things, don't you? Why are they not doing it? Is it because maybe you're not doing something? Or it could be because you are doing something. You're doing too much. You're going against the very thing that you actually want. Women today primarily offer men frustration and even agony. So instead of coming online and giving a whole lecture on what men need to be doing, maybe you should go online and talk to women about what we should be doing, because I don't hear any of that.
As a woman, like, you don't see men holding doors anymore. They don't help anymore.
That's right. Again, if I was a man, why would I hold a door? So a woman can curse me out, yell at me, tell me she doesn't need my help? This is what men are actually experiencing. The issue with women is they refuse to look at themselves ever. They see men changing toward us without realizing that we're causing the change that we're complaining about. And even as a woman myself, it does impact me. Men are not as chivalrous to me anymore. But the thing is, men don't know the difference. They don't know which woman is safe and which woman is not. We're not walking around with t-shirts that say, hey, I'm safe, I'm old school. Men don't know the difference, so they have to beware of all of us. They have to treat all of us as if we're raging radical feminists, because how can men tell the difference? It's not safe out there for them. So any complaints that you have, take it up with the girlies.
You guys are all just like really misogynistic.
How do you define misogyny?
I don't know, I don't like this.
I'm just asking how you define misogyny. Are you okay? Like, do you want to go as in leave? Is it because I asked how you define misogyny? Is that the...
No, I'd like to go home, if that's allowed.
Because I asked about how you define misogyny?
Men should never hit a woman.
Why not?
That's just f***ed up.
Why?
Why should a man hit a woman?
To protect himself.
Oh man, this is a lot.
What do you mean?
I just disagree with your viewpoints.
Why?
That you think a man should hit a woman?
Should a woman hit him? Yes, I do.
I don't think violence is the answer to anything.
No, in protection, he's self-defense. let's say a woman, he shouldn't just go around hitting her just for no reason.
Yeah.
But let's say that, should women hit men?
No.
Right. So if a woman should hit a man, shouldn't he smack her back?
No.
Why not?
Because she's a girl.
Well, she doesn't know that?
But I just think that's unfair.
So if a woman smack a man, what should he do?
He probably deserved it, to be honest.
What?
Yeah, you want to play this game? Let's go.
And doesn't she deserve to be smacked back if she should hit him?
She's a girl. Guys should not hit girls.
But girls should hit guys?
I never said that, no.
But if they do, the guy should smack her back?
No.
Why not?
Because guys shouldn't hit girls.
Why?
Because it's just, that's just unfair.
Well, how?
Because girls are tender and beautiful creatures that should not be hit.
But don't they know that before they hit the man, that they can't handle it?
I don't know.
This woman, she already had some kind of masculine features, like deeper voice, deeper whatever. She decided to be a man because she wanted to see how men were treated. Not sex change, an experiment. She ended up killing herself after like a year and a half of this because she said she was treated so horribly by women that she couldn't even believe that this is how men lived.
Men are suffering. They have different problems than women have, but they don't have it better.
And I was like, no fucking way. But I can see it. I can see that you guys don't speak up. You don't say the things that we need to hear because you want to love us. You want to support us. You want to be there for us. But you guys are supposed to be. You're supposed to be the strong one. Yeah. You're supposed to be these things. And yet we've been fighting to be your equal, fighting to be the alpha. And out of kindness, you guys are stepping back, but it's a losing war for both of us.
Yeah. I really do believe that modern feminism encourages male absence. It encourages it because it's become toxic. They use terms like toxic masculinity, right? And I say to myself, all of their examples of the idea of what it means to be a man now is toxic. They think, oh, this is a man. Masculinity is wrong. There's something inherently wrong with being a masculine man. And to me, I always say that it was toxic masculinity that saved me. You know, I had a healthy fear of my grandfather. Nobody played around with my grandfather. We still don't play around with my grandfather, you know, and it's just, there's a certain level of respect when you're in his home. There are rules. And because I had that healthy fear, I was, I guess, more responsive to that sort of authority when I had to go out in real life. You know, I believed in structure. And yet this version of feminism today, we have women that are basically promoting men should act like women, right? Yeah. And women should act like men. There's all of this confusion. You can pick your gender, you can do what you want. And ultimately what I think it's doing is feeding into this idea of a breakdown of the family.
We don't care about women's money. We don't care about women's competence. We don't care about women's height. We don't care about all the things that you care about in a man. Attraction isn't symmetrical, it's asymmetrical. So you became the man that you want. So all these other guys that you're meeting, they don't qualify for you. But the only guy that did meet your standards, guess what? You didn't qualify for him.
I don't want a man who's only going to judge me based on my size.
You just called him short. We don't want a woman that's only gonna base us based off our height. I'm 6'4", he's 5'8".
I didn't judge his character.
But okay, but you judge his height and he doesn't qualify for you. The same way he doesn't qualify for you, with your figure, a lot of guys you won't qualify for.
Give me a second. No, he's just...
I was never speaking down on you. I was speaking to the queen in you. All human beings, we got the fool in us or the king or the queen in us. Like the man, he has a fool in him, but he also has a king in him. And that woman should always speak to the king in him. A woman has a fool in her, but she also has a queen in her. Me speaking to the fool in you would have been, you just as good as you are. Those guys are the problem. But I spoke to the queen in you. You could do much better than where you are now. But in this world, it's socially unacceptable for men to speak to the queen in a woman. If we speak in the truth to a woman, it's looked at, you're being negative. You're speaking down on me. You're shaming me. But this podcast, no fugazi, so we got to keep it real.
I wasted 10 years on feminism and woke culture. And
when did you realize that it was a lie?
Probably like a year ago.
A year ago.
That's the problem.
What made you like realize?
And it's interesting. Like I started really listening to Andrew Tate's like long form content.
Yeah, nice.
And understanding truly what he meant.
Yeah.
And it really changed everything for me. And how I viewed men and women and relationships.
So you think the biggest lie of feminism was a lie? I guess.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Unfortunately.
What's the biggest lie that feminism sells women, in your opinion?
That women don't need a man.
I don't think people understand what feminism stands for. I think people are very confused about what feminism stands for. It's not about berating guys. It's not about hating men. Basically, a feminist is someone who says, give me the ability as a woman to make my own decisions without being judged.
Look, I have a kid. I used to be like that until I had my kid. Now that I have my kid, like, I might be this, oh, I'm a boss bitch, but deep down in my heart, I would do absolutely anything to be at home and be, like, always with my child.
There you go.
But unfortunately,
and have a man protect you. Stop acting like, stop leaving out the man part. Right. Because for you to be home with your child, that means you got a man holding you down, protecting you.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, he's right, and that shit's hard. Like, but unfortunately, since I'm by myself, I gotta hustle, you know. Yeah. But I would do anything to have a man like.
That's what we saying. That's exactly.
Thank you. God bless you. God bless you for telling the fucking truth. God bless you for telling the truth.
Feminism is the worst thing that ever happened to women. Our job used to be no job. We had it so good. We could have done the smart thing, which would have been to continue playing dumb. And then all these women had to show off and be like, we could do it. We could do anything. Bitch, shut up. Don't tell them the secrets. They ruined it for us. Now we're expected to work. When I hear the phrase double income household, I want to throw up. A lot of women get very upset with me about those comments. A lot of my friends, when we walk around together, they'll get very judgmental about housewives that we'll see on the street. And they'll be like, look at that fucking housewife not doing anything. Look at that housewife just walking around all day, getting massages in her Lululemon pants. I'm like, that bitch is a genius. She's not a housewife, she's retired.
So a woman called me. She said, I'm 50 years old. I have 3 degrees. I'm very successful entrepreneur, CEO. And I want you to know, Dennis, I deeply regret that I followed the feminist advice at college, because when I come home after a successful day at work to an empty home, no husband, no children, no family, it's not good.
Feminism is literally the destruction of our society. Society really cheated women in convincing them that they are, like, it is their world. If you are asking a woman to close herself in the sense that, no, I could do it on my own, I'm going to be independent, I don't need no man, like all of this kind of, what that does is it shields away a woman from being her true divine self.
The thing that pisses me most off about the whole concept of feminism is that people think that it is anti-men. Yeah. And it's like, actually, if you're for women's rights, then you're a feminist. Like, you don't have to be a woman to be a feminist. In fact, we actually need some more men to be feminists. Yeah. So maybe it's because it has the word feminine. People think like, oh, yeah. we don't want to touch that. Like, I have a girlfriend who, she was like, oh, I'm not a feminist, but, and I was like, sorry, whoa, stop talking about. I said, what did you just say? And she said, I'm not a feminist. I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, yeah, I'm not. I don't have hairy armpits. Like, I was like, babe, like, do you understand? And I went on my Google and I was like, do you understand what feminism means? It means you are pro women's rights. And she was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely pro women's rights. This is a woman who's a CEO of a business, like multi-million-dollar business. Oh, wow. She is like a beast, stunning, beautiful, really feminine, but an absolute animal. Like, and she's standing there going, I'm not a feminist, because in her kind of mind, she doesn't relate to like the way that is portrayed. And I was just like, wow, like we need to rebrand this concept.
But what's so terrifying with gender equality? I think we need to learn boys to be more sensitive, but also young girls to become more self-confident.
The problem with that is the data indicate that the consequence of the policies that you're promoting have maximized the differences between men and women. Because there's only 2 reasons that men and women differ. One is cultural and the other is biological. And if you minimize the cultural differences, you maximize the biological differences. So for example, on average, men are more interested in things and women are more interested in people. And that's actually the biggest difference we know of psychologically between men and women. In order to become an engineer, you have to be extraordinarily interested in things rather than people. Well, most of those people are men. And if you want to become a nurse, well, then you have to be much more interested in people than you are in things. And most of those people are women. And so you get differences in occupational choice that are mostly due to biological differences, and you cannot minimize that by social engineering.
Viral attention for sharing her regrets about ditching the idea of marriage and family. Now, her article in Business Insider reads, quote, I'm 38 and single, and I recently realized I want a child. I'm terrified that I've missed my opportunity. That woman's name is Melissa Persling, and she's revealing to Fox News Digital what she thinks caused her current situation. Listen.
I feel unbelievably betrayed by feminism. I was constantly fed this idea that women can do everything. We don't really need men. Women can have the great career and have the kids that they like and change the tires and do this. I mean, I grew up thinking, and men are great, but like I can do all the same things. I do feel in many ways betrayed by that line of thinking. I kind of want to go back to some of those teachers and coaches and say, what the hell did you mean by that? Because women can't do it all. We can't.
So wait a sec. How are you equal if the men are the ones that have to fight and die to defend the country? The men are the ones that build and maintain all the infrastructure. Like, none of this stuff in the studio is built or maintained by women. Do you know that like 90% of infrastructure jobs are still held by men? And that if you look at the top 20 jobs held by women now in 2024 versus 1924 are almost the exact same. So women have had 100 years to do whatever they want, and they still do the same 20 jobs they did 100 years ago. Other than we switched out farm labor for HR work. But other than that, we're secretaries, nurses, daycare ladies, early childhood education, administrative assistants, retail workers, all the same shit that we were a century ago. So
what about women that always say like women don't get paid as much as men?
Yeah.
I always hear that. How do you respond to that?
It drives me insane. Is that
a fact? But that's true, no?
It is not true when they do the same jobs as men. I'm sorry you want to work at Vogue and pick out pretty bags for a photo shoot, but you don't get paid as much as an engineer. Men and women have different interests. We are biologically different. When I was in school, every single girl that I was friends with was majoring in either comms or TMD fashion, right? The truth is that if you go into a career and you want to be a buyer for Macy's and men are, taking business classes and want to go be CEOs of hedge funds, they're gonna make more money. We have different interests, and there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Like, men and women are not the same. We are biologically different. We have biological predispositions. The idea that women should want to climb the top of a ladder and go into corporate America and be there forever. Women want to have kids, right? So there's another reason that they're not making as much money as men is because a lot of women want to stay home with their children, which is an admirable goal, which feminism tries to wipe away. Like, oh, if you want to stay at home, something that women say to me all the time. Why don't you make your husband a sandwich? Okay. Is he hungry? Does he want a sandwich? Like, did he say something? I make my husband food. The last 4 nights, I made my husband dinner. Like, I don't understand this weird maker. Like, they're trying to shame women for taking care of their families. Like, that is another element of feminism that I cannot stand. It's an attack on family and these things that work. It works. Right. Men are biologically unable to have children. So the aspiration to climb a ladder forever, to wake up every single day and not have to worry about being pregnant for 9 months, I mean, that makes sense. We're different creatures,
Now, if they make it to the final, the girls will get $5,500 each. The blokes will get $69,000
each.
How can anyone justify this item?
They can't.
No.
I mean, the gender. I beg your pardon.
I can justify it.
How? Why?
Well, I tell you what. Stars don't get paid more money because, a sport doesn't become interesting because the stars are paid more money. Stars get paid more money because the sport is interesting. Let me ask you this. How many of you guys on the panel know who our Australian Matildas are playing in the quarterfinals? No, because you don't care about it. Now, when you start to go and watch these women play the wonderful football they do, then they'll earn more money.
But I don't go to watch the men play football either.
Yeah, I know, but a lot of people do. The Men's World Cup is one of the biggest money spinners on the planet. Women's football, even though at grassroots level it's working really, really well, it's got a long way to go. The other thing, let me ask you this about sports equality. The top 10 fastest men of all time in terms of sprinters are all black, of African origin. Are you telling me that the white guys should say, hold on, we should be paid just as much as the black guys for sprinting? No, because they're not as fast.
was that men and women are basically alike in terms of personality, in terms of cognitive ability, in terms of leadership. But what it did find was that media depictions of men and women as fundamentally different perpetuate misconceptions, as does workplace bias.
Oh God, so it's my...
Men and women are broadly similar with regards to aggression, although men tilt a little bit more towards aggression. So that if you picked a random person out of the population, male and female, and you guessed that the male was more aggressive, you'd be right 60% of the time. But if you take the 1 in 100 most aggressive people, they're all male. And that's why the overwhelming proportion of people who are in prisons are male. Now, do you want to equalize that? Just out of curiosity? What about bricklayers? They're 99% male. And we've got about 3/4 of the population now in universities in the humanities and social sciences are female.
Yeah.
Are we going to equalize that? And men work longer hours. They work more dangerous jobs. They're more likely to move. They're more likely to work outside. They're more likely to participate in jobs in the STEM fields that are scalable. They make more money for those reasons. And that's all hidden under the idea that the reason that men and women make different amounts of money is because of their gender.
Do you support the idea of women have been oppressed in society?
I can actually make an argument that men have been more oppressed.
Please make your argument right now, please.
Throughout all human history, what percentage would you say of military casualties, if you had to break it up between the genders? What is the percentage breakdown of military casualties?
Well, obviously,
so deaths and injuries.
Obviously, a significantly more amount of men.
99.99999%.
But that's also because in the past, women have not been allowed to fight in the military.
That is a privilege.
Do you think if women had been allowed to join the military, they would be signing up in droves to get put through the meat grinder of war? Ukraine, right now, people are getting forced to fight in this war. Men weren't allowed to leave the country in Ukraine. You realize this, women were allowed to leave the country. Men were not allowed to leave the country in Ukraine because they were forced to go to the front lines, right into the meat grinder of war. They were forced to die. This is not something that's happened to women throughout human history.
So women
say to feminists, specifically those who are in support of trans women being able to access historically women's spaces like female bathrooms and being able to participate in women's sports.
So let me ask you a question. What is cheating?
What is cheating? Somebody using their power against the weak.
Got it. Okay. Is Leah Thomas or William Thomas biologically stronger than the competitors that she was against?
I don't know about that specific situation.
Won the national title.
Yes.
Okay.
Won
Well,
the national title.
after the transition, right? Okay. Is that fair?
Yes.
So the other women against the man were born with less bone density, lower testosterone levels. What are they supposed to do to make it even?
I would not know on that specific situation.
Got it. And you're a feminist?
I am.
What women are you trying to protect?
Women. All women.
Well, I wish you well in the coming situation where now as a feminist, you're going to have to live under the tyranny of men who think they're women. Thank you for being here tonight.